Welcome everyone to our Posh podcast, and I am your host Gabrielle here with my daughter Marcella.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
And our amazing co-host for today, Bernie Diamond.
Hola.
And DJ Spider.
Aloha.
And today's episode, guys, we are going to talk about the 11 signs if you're dating a narcissist and how to get out. I
there
think
Wow.
I think people can relate to that, can you?
Probably everyone. Spider.
Bernie is like,
No, I don't relate.
No,
For
you
sure.
don't.
No, but I don't date.
Oh.
why don't you date, Spider?
I don't have time for that shit.
Because all the Ashley Madison girls.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They got to get on my schedule.
It's hard. Dating is hard when you are a working person. It's hard for people to understand, especially a busy working
That's why I
person.
talk to the building manager here, because she's the only person around.
Dude, that's too crazy.
So the first sign, they are charming as fuck at first.
I was gonna say fuck.
At first.
Yeah.
It started as a fairy tale. Maybe they texted you constantly or told you they loved you within the first month, something experts refer to as love bombing. Maybe they tell you how smart you are or emphasize how compatible you are, even if you've just started seeing each other. Narcissists think that they deserve to be with other people who are special, and that special people are the only ones who can appreciate them fully. But as soon as you do something that disappoints them, they can turn on you.
It's crazy. I mean, it really is. You know, it's crazy to see or date a narcissist because it's so true. Like on a dime, just crazy. I mean, it's like bipolar behavior is what it seems like.
Yep.
But you're not bipolar. I almost couldn't say that. But you are not actually bipolar.
Right. This is not a
Crazy
diagnosis.
as hell,
You're
but
just
not bipolar.
narcissistic. And it explains a little bit further. It said, and usually you'll have no idea of exactly what you even did. How narcissists treat you or when they turn on you actually has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own beliefs. So if someone came on too strong at the beginning, be wary. Sure, we all love to feel lusted for, but real love has to be nurtured and grown. If you think it's too early for them to really love you, it probably is. Or if you feel like they don't know enough about you to actually love you, they probably don't. The second point is they hog the conversation talking about how great they are. Narcissists love to constantly talk about their own accomplishments and achievements with grandioseness.
I'm sorry. In this whole conversation, I'm thinking of one person that we all know here. I'm like,
Could it be the king of
I'm just
Dallas?
saying.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Go to episode 15, people, to hear about this because it's a good
That was
one.
a blueprint of it.
Yeah, true. They do this because they feel better and smarter than everyone else, and also because it helps them create an appearance of being self-assured. Narcissists will Narcissists will often exaggerate their accomplishments and embellish their talents in those stories in order to gain adoration from others.
So are you born a narcissist, or are you just like, how does that happen?
I don't
It's
know.
a product of your environment.
I agree 100%.
Like growing up, like your parents?
Yeah. Like just the people you're around, period.
You didn't feel I mean, honestly, I think it's someone who they weren't loved enough or enough attention.
You get enough hugs.
No hugs. and stuff like
I
that.
think that can also backfire the other way when parents don't discipline children, when they're constantly told you are the greatest, the best, the most wonderful, and there are no consequences ever. I think that's a big problem too.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Because those people, I mean, they think they're the best, the greatest,
Entitlement.
and the most wonderful.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's an issue, and I think in today's world, it's worse than ever before.
Social media.
My God, it's Instagram for sure.
But I feel like I'm like, so is everyone narcissistic? Like a little bit? Because I feel like you could almost find it in everyone, like a tiny, I mean, not the full blown, like all of it, but
Everybody wants to be loved.
Everybody wants
Everybody
that.
wants to be loved.
And
there's
they
no one
want
who doesn't.
No, and they want the likes and they want the attention and the.
But I think there is a difference. I mean,
Okay.
narcissists are just really bad people.
yeah.
And I mean, these,
I just feel like I hear it a lot.
I mean, and these, like, we have 11 signs. So let's go
Okay.
through the
All right.
Let's
signs.
go signs.
And then we're also going to hear Oprah's most frequently asked questions. I'm having issues today saying these hard words.
She's
And-
from Europe.
And then, and then
It's the after Cinco de Mayo little hangover
Yeah.
part.
didn't even drink.
Maybe you need some of that.
That's right.
Some of that vodka. Then you have an
I
excuse at
know.
least.
I
Like, no, I was
know.
drinking.
And then we'll also learn about the difference between being a narcissist or just self-absorbed, because there's a difference
Well, then
too.
there you go.
Mhm. So a third point is they feed off your compliments. Narcissists may seem like they're super self-confident, but according to this person, most people actually lack self-esteem. They need a lot of praise, and if you're not giving it to them, they'll fish for it. That's why they're constantly looking at you to tell them how great they are. Narcissists use other people who are typically highly empathic. See, I'm having trouble. What is that word?
What?
Empathic.
Yeah.
When you feel what other people feel.
Oh, to supply.
Empathy.
Okay. To supply their sense of self-worth and make them feel powerful. But because of their low self-esteem, their egos can be slighted very easily, which increases their need for compliments.
Maybe that's why I always date narcissists. They like find me, I think.
Yeah, but didn't
I think I feel like when people, I feel everybody's feeling.
what's that?
Like I feel like if people, I can feel everyone's like feelings. Like I actually
Marcella,
feel
that's
that.
actually true. But you know,
It's not a horrible thing to feel the feelings and all that, but I mean,
Oh, it can be.
But
yeah,
I
it
think
can
that
be
they
for sure.
find that in me, and then they know that I'm that way, so they like
And then they
feed
use
off
it.
of me, and they
Mhm.
use that to their advantage.
Well, you find a good-looking guy who starts hitting on you. You're a really pretty girl, so the natural thing is they're going to want to impress you, right? So they're
Right.
saying all the right stuff, and
Right.
I mean, it's almost impossible to know. I guess if you're not paying attention to it, it's hard to know that you're dealing with a narcissistic type of person right off the bat.
you're absolutely right. But what you'll find out rather quickly, and then what's really important is that you, as the other person, male or female, either you run right away because you know that this is not right, or you put your foot down and don't allow it to happen, because
Yeah.
you can tell right away. Like with the King of Dallas, I'm just going to bring that one thing up. You knew, I mean, the signs was so huge. Like it was right there at the very beginning, like 3 weeks into it, by giving him a wrong turn direction.
That's so crazy.
I mean,
Yeah, but that was being mean. But what you're reading is people like using people's like what is it, empathic or whatever.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, to feed off of that for their own gain. And sometimes
Thank
I
you.
feel like even the last one, like the constant like crying or like the
oh yeah, we don't do men crying. I don't like it.
what are you guys talking about? I'm not crying. You're crying.
like the fishing for compliments. Like I think that they use because I feel like I feel people's pain and I want to save everyone and fix their life and heal everything. Like they use that
That
to their
is true.
advantage.
But don't you think, like through experience, though, I mean, I know for me, through, and it goes to what you were just saying. Whoever on the other side of the narcissistic person is being able to recognize your own values and realize
Yeah.
what you're not going to,
Put up with.
what's going to work and what's not going to work. It's like
Yeah.
having, I mean, it's having these boundaries that didn't work for me.
That is 1,000,000% the
Yeah.
most important thing.
But we all most people will justify it because for whatever personality trait that narcissists have, they're a good looking person, or they're really fun, or they have a lot of friends, or whatever it is. And I think I've done it. I've been guilty of it, of just like for whatever justifying reason. But now, like I don't put up with it, and not in a mean way. Like I don't put up with anything, but
You
if
just don't want to waste your time.
yeah, like now if there's a fraction, if it's pink flag, I'm like I'll stop because
So
I
you
just
don't wear rose-colored glasses
no,
at
not
all.
at all,
No.
not at all. No, because at the end of the day, I feel like even saying you're not going to put up with it, it doesn't matter. They're either that way or they're not. I mean,
It's true.
Everyone can change for that long. Usually, and they make changes. I think most people can make those changes if they really want those. But I think if that's their strong trait of being a narcissist,
they won't make changes. You'll know.
You're going to have hell.
And that's why I'm saying the sooner you push back, the sooner you'll know that they are a narcissist. Because if you have a normal person, you can say, that doesn't work for me in a normal way. And it's not even going to be a fight. It's like, oh, whoa, okay. A narcissist will not be so nice at all.
And you will go through hell if you continue to ignore the signs.
Just
hell.
They lack empathy. Lack of empathy or the ability to feel how another person is feeling is one of the hallmark characteristics of narcissists. Narcissists lack the skill to make you feel seen, validating, understood, or accepted because they don't grasp the concept of feelings. Translation, they don't do emotion that belongs to others. Does your partner care when you've had a bad day at work, fight with your best friend, or scuffle with your parents? Or do they get bored when you express the things making you mad and sad? The inability to empathize or even sympathize is often the reason why many, if not all, narcissist relationships eventually collapse, whether they're romantic or not.
I only dated one narcissist that I can say was clearly just crazy narcissist. And it was not, it was horribly unfun. It was like
horribly unfun.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I dated on and off for a few months, this one particular person, and man, it was just, there was nothing, there was a couple fun moments with it. And in my mind, I started, because we didn't see each other every day.
Yeah, because they have that other fun side.
They had some really cool fun things, so you kind of justify it. But man, dating someone who's a narcissist is just hell. At the end of the day,
extremely unfun.
It's just
horribly unfun.
Horribly unfun.
They don't have any long-term friends. Most narcissists won't have any long-term real friends. Dig deeper into their connections and you may notice that they only have casual acquaintances, buddies they trash talk, and nemesis. They have nemesis. As a result, they might lash out when you want to hang out with they lash out when you want to hang out with your friends. They might claim that you don't spend enough time with them, make you feel guilty for spending time with your friends, or berate you for the types of friends you have. Wow.
This is really, really interesting. This has been a great checklist to have in my dating life. Good Lord.
Maybe at first it felt like teasing, but then it got mean or became constant. Suddenly, everything you do, from what you wear or eat, to who you hang out with and what you watch on TV, is a problem for them. They'll put you down, call you names, hit you with hurtful one-liners, and make jokes that aren't quite funny. Their goal is to lower others' self-esteem so that they can increase their own because it makes them feel powerful. What's more, reacting to what they say only reinforces their behavior. A narcissist loves a reaction. That's because it shows them that they may have the power to affect another's emotional state. A warning sign: if they knock you down with insults when you do something worth celebrating, get away. A narcissist might say, you were able to do that because I didn't sleep well, or some excuse to make it seem like you have an advantage that they didn't have. They want you to know that you are not better than them, because to them, nobody is.
So how does somebody who is a narcissist, how do you get away from being such an asshole?
I don't know.
That's just that's a really bad person.
Do you ever think that if anyone is listening to this and they are one, do they think about that they do those things, or they don't think they do those things?
I bet they're probably thinking, I know someone just like that. And they're thinking of everyone else. But they don't think it's them. But it isn't.
Right.
Do you recognize that in your own self?
For me, this is major with the lowering others' self-esteem. Mm-hmm. That is because I always say to Marcella, they make you a wounded animal, basically, and then they smell blood and it gets worse.
Yeah.
That's so...
She says that to me a lot.
I say that to her all the time because it's true.
Yeah.
Because by that behavior, it makes you feel weak, and some people are more subjective to that than others. You can't do that with me because I'm
for some reason a magnet for them.
You are. And it's really... It's because she is always so sweet, and like what she says, that the empathy.
Empathetic.
That word is so hard for me.
Empathetic.
The empathetic is so strong, and then She doesn't realize that that gets broken down slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it's over for her, then she behaves the way she should be behaving when this first starts.
How's that?
Whew, you don't want to be on that side.
When it's over, you just...
I'll say everything that I wanted to that you did the whole time. And then the people, I always say I have a very, I'm the sweetest person and I have a very long fuse. Yeah. And I will give you warning after warning after warning. And I say that I have a lot of windows in my heart. And then when something happens and for some reason, I date a lot of narcissistic people. But a window will close, I always tell her, like, this is another one. And then there's
so many windows.
Many windows in your heart. And then when the door slams, suddenly this person is like, wait, what? And it's always like small. It's just the last thing that I cannot take anymore. And then they're like,
I want creamer in my coffee.
Yeah. So then they're like, but wait, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, actually. And it like is a word vomit in the most. Now I stay very classy, but I say how I feel the whole time, and everything that has happened will come out, and they literally are always like stunned. And then we're really sorry, and then we want to come back, and then I'll keep reminding you of the shit but then I'm done. Like when I'm done, I'll give you so many chances, and when I'm done, it's done.
Have you ever been done and then you decided to come back in?
Not one time.
Never.
No kidding.
Not one time. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm done.
That's healthy. That's good.
But a lot of people take people back.
Yeah.
But I wish she would say those things when they first happen, because I always wonder how would the relationship be then. But she is who she is. She can't help it. So this is just, but what happens is the other person gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And what happens to her? One door after the other closes. Yeah. So they think they're super tough, but then she just walks away.
And they're shocked.
And then are they broken after that?
Oh yeah. Every single time.
Do you feel like you'd be able to recognize it more now of like those tendencies and be able to see the red flags and shut it down quicker?
Nope.
No.
She doesn't hang in there as long.
I don't stay as long. Like Andy was probably the longest, but with that, or I'm King of Dallas. What the fuck ever. Andy was the longest, but I think I was so young. And to be honest, after 2 years, I knew it was done.
How long are you together?
4. But he was so threatening that for 2 years, I hated him. Like, you know when you hate someone and you're with them and you're watching them speak and you're like, I fucking hate you so much. Like, you're the worst person ever, but we're together. I just needed a way out and I couldn't. Because I was abused in that one. So that was a little bit different. Now it is a little bit faster. I mean, I could probably get quicker, but it has been faster.
For sure. Hate you so much.
You know what I'm saying? You see it and you watch their mouth moving and you know they're full of shit. And they're just lying. And you're like, God, you're so disgusting. Fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Well, I had that with Andy. Really.
I've had some people that I thought I hated. But
like when they're breathing, you're like, can you just stop breathing? Your breathing is annoying. I
usually don't stay. I don't stay in those relationships. No, like I don't really know.
They're breathing so loud. You're like, God, your breathing is just annoying. The way you eat.
Now, number 7.
You're chewing.
They gaslight you. Gaslighting is a form of manipulation and emotional abuse, and it's a hallmark of narcissism. Narcissists may spew blatant lies, falsely accuse others, spin the truth, and ultimately distort your reality. Signs of gaslighting include the following. You no longer feel like the person you used to be. You feel more anxious and less confident than you used to be. You often wonder if you're being too sensitive. You feel like everything you do is wrong. You always think it's your fault when things go wrong. You're apologizing often. You have a sense that something's wrong but aren't able to identify what it is. You often question whether your response to your partner is appropriate. You make excuses for your partner's behavior. They do this to cause others to doubt themselves as a way to gain superiority. There that is again. Narcissists thrive off of being worshipped, so they use manipulation tactics to get you to do just that.
What a dick.
Being worshipped.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you said, sorry.
I'm watching you, watching him. I'm like,
I thought you were saying something.
I was coughing back here.
Yeah, that just sounds horrible with you reading all these things off. shithead person.
What?
Damn. You
all
should
the time.
pointed at.
Yeah, she's pointing at me.
Number 8, they dance around defining the relationship. There are thousands of reasons someone might not want to label your relationship. Maybe they're oh God, these words are so hard today.
What is that?
Polyamorous?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
That's how, like, not having one partner, having a million partners.
Oh.
They want a lot
Multiple
of girls.
partners.
You've both agreed to a friends with benefits situation, or you're simply keeping it casual. But if your partner is exhibiting some of the other symptoms on this list and won't commit, it's likely a red flag. Some narcissists will expect you to treat them like they are your partner so they can reap the intimate, emotional, and sexual benefits, while also keeping an eye out for other prospects.
Let's say if you're definitively, you define it as friends with benefits, and then that doesn't matter at that
No,
point.
that's
I mean,
true.
you're just
I agree.
randomly
Yeah,
dating
that's-
somebody, but
Your own fault.
it's your own fault for sure.
Right. They think they're right about everything and never apologize. Fighting with a narcissist feels impossible. There's no debating or compromising with a narcissist because they're always right.
Was there ever a time I can only relate it? I got to ask a question with the king, right?
Yeah.
Because this is like, I mean, I've got to imagine this is really like textbut king.
Oh yeah,
right.
every single one.
Was there ever a time? Did you ever get a chance to see a softer side? I'm certain,
Yeah.
to where like it really was like a no bullshit, real softer side type of deal.
Well, that's why I at the time, like, because it obviously wasn't like that. Like I would always defend it. Again, I was so stupid and so young, but I would say I like Andy. I didn't like Big Andy because that was two different people. Obviously, you know, I always say this even to my friends who are in relationships that, you know, it's not good, but everybody has that other side. Nobody sees what's going on behind closed doors. Cause obviously if it's bad 24/7, I'm somebody who always at some point has to make a pros and cons list. I have to see it because written down, and I'll always call her and be like, I think we need to make a list because I think I need to look at it I need to see it blatant for what it is. And so we'll get a piece of paper, literally.
How many lists have you seen her make?
Many, and I actually have saved them all. Sometimes I find them.
That's an episode
really
all in its own. What are you?
There was only one time. There was one time that I said, we need to make a list. I need to make a list with this person. And she said, okay. I called her probably 2 hours later and said, never mind, we don't need a list because we just fucking broke up. She was like, oh, okay.
Okay, then. All right.
No
That's
list.
crazy.
The only time there was just, but then I think we made a list for him anyway.
There was a list.
There was a list, but I always make a list and then I tell people to do that. So really to anyone out there, really,
Yes.
I tell all my friends this. I tell all my students this, my teenage students. Make a pros and cons list and be very honest about it.
Be very honest and be very specific. And it is amazing what happens because when you are really honest and you have this piece of paper in front of you and it has half positive, negative, and you see it, it is crazy what it makes your mind explode.
So, what were some of the?
Positive.
I'm gonna ask this. So, on this list of the pros and cons, what were some of the? What were some of the pros? With him, what were you? Okay, we'll use Big Andy's a thing. What were some of his pros?
I honestly think there was maybe 2, and then we had
crazy.
A front back of cons, and we were like, I mean, we just actually I think it was funny because we just kept going because there were so many cons.
So many.
It was just fun for the hell of it. Like, let's just keep it going.
So, how far into the 4 years did you make the pros and cons list? 3 months.
Yeah, right.
No,
I
very
should
late.
have very late.
Yeah,
But-
just to get her finally away because she was so abused in that whole thing that
That one was
hard.
a little bit different. But then this is horrible. I have made pros and cons lists when I'm dating multiple people to try to figure out which one I should actually we sat down. I'm like, let's make a pros and cons list for these 5 guys, and she's like, yeah.
Hey, we should start a 2 Posh pros and cons
Dude,
list.
that would be you would get a lot of likes and listens to on that for sure.
Because it really helps put it in perspective, and it can be anything and everything, but it has to be really specific.
So, what are some? So, what, for example, not anyone specific.
Yeah.
Like, what have been some of your pros and cons list stuff?
She's writing it down. Like maybe when you first meet someone, you say, well, he has beautiful eyes, he has nice teeth, good hygiene, he works, that's good. He has a good family, he has a job.
Have you dated guys who didn't work?
Oh God, I've dated losers. Yeah,
really?
Horrible.
So I'm just curious, how do you justify that?
I don't. I'm just an idiot.
but no.
So you know what I say then?
Oh, well,
This
curious.
is mom giving advice to my daughter that is challenged with choosing.
Sweet way. Of
I'm trying to be nice. But Marcella, you have to look at the whole situation, and then you have to ask yourself, what do you want out of life? Like, are you gonna be okay with, when you have children together, with buying this child only one pair of shoes? And are you going to be okay with living in this, like, there's never going to be more. This is it.
So hold on, this is like really interesting, the job part. How do you justify that? Like, how do they buy stuff for you? Like, how do they do dinner or lunch or?
Well, no, I'm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just.
How was dinner when you had to look at I can't get this right now, even though I want it?
Yeah, well, he didn't not have a job. He just had a piece of shit job. So it was, everything was split, and then
You have any dates at Wendy's?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. It just was when we were with friends, like you couldn't get, I mean, I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to eat it. I work, so I'm paying for it myself. You can get nothing.
That's an interesting comment. I've never even, that doesn't.
It's speechless.
Sorry, I'm like, that doesn't even, I can't equate, I couldn't have a conversation with like, hey, look, we're going to go have dinner. You got cheese pizza, don't put pepperoni on there. Like,
it's like that.
Do you know what's weird is that to this day, that has sometimes, I don't tell anyone this until right now, but sometimes
it's all thousands and thousands of people, isn't it?
I will think about it, even if I'm on a date with someone who is successful, like that it's not a concern, but I really do still look at it like, is that gonna be okay for me to get that? Or I'm like, no, it's fine, you can do whatever. Like it's weird.
So I'll tell you this. This is actually from the guy's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It was so I went on a date a couple weeks ago, and we went and had sushi, and the date was going great, whatnot. I went towards the end of the date, and I know the bill was getting ready to come, so I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and the date paid for our dinner.
Wow.
Which is not, usually it's not, I mean, there's plenty of girls who will, here and there, but it was our first date. And so I thought that was really, really cool. Like it's like $200 bill, like paid the whole thing. I know. It was interesting. I wasn't used to that at all.
The girl did it.
The girl did it. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was.
Have you gone on a second date?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
She should have let you pay.
No, I got a dinner out of it. This is how it feels like to be a girl. I got dinner out of it, and I got some.
Some girls just will go on dates to have a free dinner. I do know that.
That I do know too. It's that's crazy.
That's crazy.
It really is.
I would never.
But I think it's also. But I mean, I think it's really just a mentality issue of just. And that person, how happy are they? Like that's the mentality,
so true.
right?
Yeah.
So when were we talking the first podcast you did about with trouts and all that stuff? What was it?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember.
I forget. When we were here, Aaron and I were last time. We were talking about
what did we talk?
The trouts or the old guys who
salt
just
daddies and stuff. I don't remember.
Yeah.
We have to listen to it. Yeah, we've talked about that often. Yeah, but anyway, my pros and cons list. If you need it, you should make one.
I think
That's
everyone
awesome.
should. When you are like, you don't have to make pros and cons when you're in a good relationship at all. But
No.
if you are like doubting or you're not sure or
if you're dating a few people and you need to figure out which one.
yes.
But the thing is, if someone's going to take the time to make the list, shouldn't they really make it a point to listen to that? I mean, to really weigh that list out. I mean, if there's way more cons and pros, because I think anyone will. You could take one pro and justify 6 or 7 cons. I think a lot of people do that.
That's why seeing it
Yes.
is like visually when you see it, because there's some you're kind of even, or some of the cons are like, can I deal with that? Like, I've dated people with children and I've dated people with major baby mama drama. Can I deal with that? Yeah, that's fine as long as it's handled. But not that is a con on their end, but that it's for a single person. It's do I want to take on that responsibility?
Yeah.
So that's something that comes with that. Yeah, that's fine. Or is it that they, I don't know, what would another con be that you can like handle that we've written before? Like
someone that is in a point of their career where they are like not successful yet, but they're a very ambitious person, and you see them, going
putting in the work,
ethic.
They don't
stuff
have
like
the
that.
best job, but they're working their way up, and you can see it.
Stuff
So you're
like
like,
that.
okay, I can do
that's
that.
different.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you do those kind of things, and you weigh them. But then when you get to the cons that are really bad, you're like, okay, this is going to be tough.
so here's the question. On your pros and cons list, have your con ever been that they were married?
No.
No, she never does that.
Thank God, there's plenty of people out there who have
No,
done that.
never. I have never talked to anyone that's married or in a relationship. Never. For the simple reason of the shit I've gone through, it has scarred me. She tells me to not bring that up often, but it has done a remarkable amount of damage.
Oh.
And then the last one did it again. So it was kind of like I have a lot of issues with that, so I'm very careful when it comes to, like, if I even know you're talking to someone else, I'm like, you just call me when you're done with that.
Yeah, recently she had an experience with a married guy trying to hit on her, and
How was that?
I did.
Yeah. And she flipped out. She was actually saying, if this wasn't someone that we know,
Yeah.
I
know
would
him?
have contacted the wife. But
So
she
this
can't.
is that's
Oh
nice.
yes, this is we know them very well, and actually wrote me a direct message, and I know the wife, and I know
He wrote you a direct message.
and I know the kids.
You don't tell the details. Though, kind of what is the details? Like what do you say at that point? If he,
I was super I was actually really disappointed in that person because of what they portray. And then I wrote her, and then I tried. Here's the thing: is
you wrote who?
I wrote my mom.
Oh,
I
thought you wrote his mom,
no.
his wife.
I showed her, and I said, you know what's crazy is here's the kind of person I am. I actually tried to save him from himself, and I brought her up, and I said, you know what, you should lingerie, whatever. I said you should buy this for her. No, I want a private show from you, and I went, you motherfucker. I actually tried to like help you there, but it still went that way. And I told her, I said, I can't even look at that person the same. And I was actually disappointed, I guess, in the person that they portray and then how they are. And I was shocked that it was me because of the family.
So do you see this person regularly?
I don't.
She
Did you? Okay.
But I do.
You do?
But
So now, oh my God.
but nobody knows
No.
except for me and that person and her and my whole family.
And
And everybody knows.
it's like, and
But
now
nobody knows
he
that
knows
is.
that. If that person's listening, he knows. You know now.
It was and then of course, they get mad and then, unfollow and do all that stuff, which I was like, okay, that's fine.
Well, hold on. So, sorry, I'm just. What do you say when you're mad? Like, what do you say to be pissed
I
off about
think
it?
that this person is definitely, I think that I have this effect, I guess, that people assume, or there are people of power that have never been told no, or people who have that kind of ego that most women will throw themselves at them. And then when I tell them no, it's like this has happened several times, actually. It's this immediate, like, pissed off now at me. We're unfollowing. We're not friends
No, we're
anymore.
not even friends.
We're not even friends.
Wow.
Like, this has happened a lot of times, actually, where I'm like, I didn't even give you that, like, idea that we were going to go there. And now they get very mad. I think they're more butthurt, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're used to being told yes. Like, if they have money, if they have, like, girls will say yes. And I was even thinking, I was like, was he going to, like, pay me? I don't know. It was just so, remember I asked you that? I was like,
Really?
how weird. Yeah.
That's a.
Which I was like, if I was a bad person, I would be like, you need to pay me to not tell your wife. How about that? But I'm not like that. So I was like,
So
whatever.
good. So good.
But I can't do it because I'm just not that way. But
Shoot a message. Hey, I'm about to blast your name on my podcast. Venmo me $10,000.
Venmo me $10,000 real quick, and I won't say anything. But the other part is, I thought that it wouldn't even matter because I think that she deep down knows and just puts up with it. Because if you're so quick to do that with me, you know, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But because this person has money, I think that the wife is just like turns the other
Well, it
cheek.
goes down to the last episode where, like, what do you
Cheating.
justify, right?
Yeah,
cheating in marriage,
Is it easier for her to stay in it because she's going to be herself or whatnot? Or
In this case, I think absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes.
Happens all the time.
Sometimes.
Well,
yeah.
we were talking on the way here, actually, we were talking about musicians and sports players.
Mm-hmm.
And athletes. And I think, you know, some women, she used to tell me when I was with Andy, she was like, if you're okay to be cheated on, will you at least date a sports guy?
Like a credit card.
Will you
and
date an
live in that
athlete at
house?
least? And
That's really
live-
true right there.
If you're going to put up with it, you might as well put up with it like in a big way.
Get
and I was
paid
like,
on it.
yeah, you're actually
I mean-
kind of right, because I could be shopping like with a credit card right now.
Yeah,
while they're cheating.
What are you doing?
Happens all the time. God, that's.
So I think
You listen to your mom more often. Just saying.
I try.
She does not try. Later, she says. I need to. Okay, number 10 on the narcissist. We're going back to that.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I forgot
get
about
off
that right there.
They panic when you try to break up with them. See?
Yeah.
That happened with Big Andy?
This happens with every. You want to go down my exes? This is not that they're all narcissists, but they have all, every time it starts, we panic.
Yeah.
Panic.
As soon as you back away, a narcissist will try that much harder to keep you in their lives. At first, they may love bomb you. They'll say all the right things to make you think that they have changed, but soon enough, they'll show you they never actually changed. And because of this, many narcissists find themselves in on-again, off-again romantic relationships until they find someone else to date. That never happens with her, thank God.
Yeah, no.
What, going back and forth?
Never.
And Well, do you typically, how long have you waited typically from one relationship to the next? Do you actually take time?
Too
No?
long. Oh, from one to the next relationship?
Yeah. It depends.
Not enough time.
No time. What would be enough time, do you think?
I think you have to heal from that one first.
So what, 3-ish months, 6 months, a year?
A minimum of 6 months.
6 months.
I think a minimum of
Before
6
you
months.
date at all?
It depends what kind of dater you are.
Gotcha.
If you're dating to date, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're dating to fall in love easily, then that's dangerous.
Yeah.
I
So-
think that I am not good at dating.
No.
Why?
I don't know. I always end up in a relationship.
So
Yeah.
fast, way too fast. We
Yeah.
say that all the time.
Yeah.
Like it should be dating much longer before you decide to be in a relationship.
How long do you think that should be? I'm curious. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah.
on
Well,
your-
see now if you get into all that, because I have my such strict rules, no one
No,
likes them.
I'm
She has a
asking.
lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
what's your
have a
strict rule?
lot.
I mean, how long do you think it should be before someone makes the decision that they're going to be exclusive?
I think that. I mean, that depends a lot to how you feel, obviously.
Yeah.
But even if you are exclusive with that one person dating, I take it to such extremes. Like it starts with the whole holding hands, kissing. I mean, that none of that happens for a very long time.
What if you, because here's the thing, you could date someone, they could be a horrible kisser and ruin the whole thing.
It's true.
I mean, like ruin the whole thing. Because I've kissed a few people, I was like, oh, I just ruined, wasted a couple dates. It's not true. I usually kiss them on the first date, but it could ruin every bit of it.
I
if they're a
have
bad
never
kisser.
kissed on a first date.
Really?
No, me neither. Oh my God, never.
Not ever.
Well, I hope you got a kiss on any recent first date.
Yeah, she has kissed a long time.
Nope.
Um,
I think that, I don't know, it makes that kiss even better. Like,
well,
if you wait
unless they're
longer.
bad, he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And that's happened where I'm like, that was
yes.
really bad.
yeah.
Yeah, and
so,
then
I
does it
mean,
go on? Because if that's bad, the rest of it's not any better.
absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm always a first date kisser because I don't want to, that's really important. Like that, connecting is really important because
Yeah.
I've connected some really cool people that were not great kissers or anything. And that just can ruin, that ruined the whole deal for me. So,
Yeah, that's understandable. I just don't kiss on the first date.
No.
Second, maybe.
I think, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay. So holding hands, wow, that's really strict. You're right.
I don't know. I just think you get to know someone so much better. You get to know what their intentions are, all of it, all of that. I mean, if then they were a terrible kisser, then you lose that spark anyways. So then what does it matter? You invested a lot of time already, but whatever.
How many dates would you then
man.
kiss someone?
Yeah, how many
I
dates?
don't know, lots of dates. I have to see the dating first. I have to
But
see
see-
how committed.
But she also hasn't been dating in
Yeah.
almost 20 years.
Yeah. I don't know. So
I would still have the same rules.
yeah, but so think about it. So I'm not trying to sway you in a way. I'm just conversating here. So as you're saying, right, you go a few dates and then you're like, yeah, you kiss someone, you don't like it, you don't like the way they kiss or whatever it is, and then it goes, you stop dating them, right? So, but what about all that wasted investment of time?
I guess
If it goes down to that, if you're like, if they're a bad kisser, and you're talking, it takes many dates, many dates of wasted time.
I don't know. Don't look at it as wasted time, because by then I know that this person is like really, really, really wanting to date me. Like they have to put in some time and effort, and I don't know. Never happened.
or maybe she just never kissed anyone
I was like,
back.
That's
probably
the other thing.
Better way to say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's better.
I mean, clearly he's a good kisser 19 years later. Right? It's working for you.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing's worked for me, so maybe I'll try. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to try.
I was like,
Not even
don't
try.
even try. Joke.
It sounded really
Fool
cool,
you.
though. It sounded really good.
Well, there you go.
Number 11.
Oh, yeah.
And when you show them you're really done, they lash out. If you insist that you're done with the relationship, they'll make it their goal to hurt you for abandoning them. Their ego is so severely bruised that it causes them to feel rage and hatred for anyone who wronged them. That's because everything is everyone else's fault, including the breakup.
I haven't had that. Just crying.
You have or have not?
Have not. It's always crying.
Really?
But they're sorry. So sorry.
I've had the lash out before. I've definitely had the lash out before. But it's interesting because I can see... I'm thinking of a couple of people I've dated before that there's little tendencies of this right here. Not full hardcore narcissist, but I've seen some tendencies for that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've only been with one person who is full blown, all of
Big
it.
A?
Yeah,
Right.
big A. But there's some people who they'll be like one or two touches of it for sure.
More than one
Speaking
or two.
of Big
but
A, do you ever know if he listens to this stuff?
No clue.
Yeah, I'm certain he's got to.
this is really terrible to say probably, but I am so hopeful that if he hasn't changed, which I can't imagine that he changed. I mean, I have no idea if he went from big A to A, that there was actually somewhat likable things about that person. If he has not changed, I always hope that the girlfriend listens and that the girlfriend gets away before it's too late.
You know what's crazy though is that 15 show is always in our top 10. It's never left.
Always.
That's a huge story. I mean, that's like, and I know you've had people tell you this. I've even told you this before. It's because what ends up happening is, I mean, it goes to a lot of things. You get trapped. I mean, it's easy to get trapped in someone who, I mean, I've known him for years before you guys dated, and he's really charming. I mean, that's one thing he is. He's charming. He has money.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's easy for him to throw out whatever, right?
Yeah.
Pay
Especially
for bottles
with young girls.
That's the biggest thing for young girls because
Yeah.
they're impressed. The big guy is not a bad looking guy. He drives a little Audi.
Yeah. Oh, no.
but
I think the first part of what you said is because I said this on episode 15, I think, is that when I was younger, I used to watch all those shows, like the Maury shows and stuff, and you see all these girls or you hear about people getting abused and you'd be like, I would never let myself do that. I would never let anybody talk to me like that. And then you find yourself in it, and she's never experienced it, but even on that show you said you had a better understanding for it after that. But it's the trapped feeling, because like I said, after 2 years I knew I wanted out. For 2 years it was me, I couldn't figure out how to do that because they're scary. Like what you don't see are the threats, and that you're so manipulated in your mind that you don't know you have lost. Like even reading the narcissist list, they have beat you down so much that you don't feel like yourself. You're so lost. Like, who am I without this person at this point? I'll have no friends.
That's scary.
They'll destroy my life.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? That's what he said.
Isn't it amazing though? Like once you stepped out of that, you realize that circle of what you thought was like this small thing, and there's the whole room of what reality is for life.
And
it happens
a
often.
Big lesson though to always remember. And she teaches me still today, like even now, like just relax. Like you have to let things like just run its course, or in a week from now, you're not going to think about this, or in 5 years from now, you're like, what you're crying over or what is hurt, like it all passes, but it's so hard to like
in the moment.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing how true that is, though? I mean, like, it's the world's worst.
Thing.
The world is ending at that moment. Your
heart is crushed.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought that many times in my life where, I remember when I had my accident, when I got shot, and I was at Parkland Hospital, and that I felt every bit of that. Like, my world is over with, and I'm never going to get past this. And then my brother had cancer, and my dad had cancer all at the same time.
Right.
And it was, but I mean, fast forwarding to it, it's like, it's such a distant memory.
Isn't that crazy?
It still happened, but it's not prevalent now.
Yeah, and look, your life is so great. I mean, you don't have
awesome.
You don't have that. It's so
but see,
crazy.
this is what's so cool too. We had a guest on. Her episodes came out last week, and her name is Kiri, and she had a lot of bad things happen as well, like back to back to back, and you go, my gosh, what's happening? Why am I getting attacked? And that same week, there was a church service at Fellowship Church where he talked about
why bad things happen to good people. Why does God let that happen?
Like, it is the most amazing.
I still need to listen to it.
One of the most powerful services I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
I think you would enjoy listening to it just because you went through so much as well.
Yeah.
And this person is giving the service had unbelievable things happen to him, and it's just you always have to keep the faith.
Yeah. When was this service?
2 weeks ago.
Last Sunday, actually.
Okay.
So you need to
find it
not yesterday.
The Sunday before.
I'll look it up.
And Tracy Barnes did it, and it's incredible. Like, you have to watch it.
I need to watch it still.
So let's just talk about, you're dating a narcissist. Now what? Like, how do you get out?
That's a good one.
Being in a relationship with someone who's always criticizing, belittling, gaslighting, and not committing to you is emotionally exhausting. That's why, for your own sanity, you get the fuck out.
That's what it says.
Big time. Big time.
And how to prepare for a breakup, you have to constantly remind yourself that you deserve better. Number one, repeat. Marcella Ranieri, repeat.
So funny. It's really true, though. It really is true.
Remind yourself that you deserve better. Say, I deserve better.
I've never been in a relationship that the next one, like serious relationship, I'm thinking, oh shit, I missed my last relationship ever. It's always gotten better. 100% of the relationship.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't think everyone can say that, but like the people who fuck up the good ones. But
yeah, right.
I'm glad that I've always been that way.
Yeah.
Strengthen your relationships with your empathetic friends. Build a support network with friends and family who can help remind you what is reality. Urge your partner to go to therapy. Get a therapist yourself.
Okay, let me. So I gotta stop. That fuck. If you get to that point, you need to end the relationship.
Right.
Just end it. Unless you're married, and God, I'm praying for you if you're married right now. But you have to go to the point where you're going to see a counselor and a therapist. Ugh.
While you're dating?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys, this is the most important part of this whole article, I think. You cannot change a person with narcissistic personality disorder or make them happy by loving them enough or by changing yourself to meet their whims and desires. They will never be in tune with you, never empathetic to your experiences, and you will always feel empty after an interaction with them. Narcissists can't feel fulfilled in relationships or in any area of their lives because nothing is ever special enough for them.
That's the end of the day. I mean, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with us. It has. I mean, it goes right with what you said. Yeah, it goes down to. I mean, I go back to what I've said a number of times. I think, and I'm not the master of this by any means, but like just getting to where you're comfortable in yourself, your own skin, and when you're really understanding yourself, and because. If we're not all whole, we do stupid shit like that. And it's a fact.
It is a fact. So, once again, Miss Polly is not available today, which is so sad.
I know.
I miss you, Polly.
I was going to ask her if she thinks that narcissists can change. And I actually don't think we're finished with this subject. I would like to do a second part 2 on that whole thing. And then I would like to get her opinion on it. But
I think you'll have a lot of listeners who will jump on that one. It's a real. This right here is something that everyone has dealt with at one point.
I think so.
And people are trapped in these relationships. Like I mean, they are, and they're like, what am I doing? What do I do? How do I get out of this? So I think this is going to be a really good part two, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do a part 2 on that one. And
if you're dating one, you can write us.
yes, please write with any questions and what you're experiencing, and we might have you on the show, actually. Yeah. Let's just change it up and do the question of the day.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
So this question, what sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to? Like what
All of
sport?
them.
The players? Or
Like the players
Make the
have,
players get drunk
they have to
before they play.
drink and then they have to play. What sport do you think will be the funniest?
Polo.
Gosh.
Polo?
that
Yeah,
what
because
horses?
they have to ride horses.
I know of one.
What's
Which
that?
one?
I actually had this. This is a real life experience. This happened to me.
Oh, wait a minute.
So I went home to Austria, and this is many years ago. And my family is tennis playing family, and we went to play tennis, and there was this group of guys, and they were obviously drinking, and this one guy was getting super drunk, and watching him play tennis wasted was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire
I
life.
didn't even play.
I was
Because
gonna
he
say,
is
I mean,
a really good player, like not
Usually.
drunk, amazing.
Not drunk.
And to actually see him repeatedly every time whack that racket and miss the ball was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, because
to date.
the professional, they'd all be good. So if you add the alcohol, then they're bad.
But
It
if
is
we're all
funny.
drinking, everybody's really good at that point. You're the best
That's
player in the
true.
world. So could you really I mean, the only sport I'd be crazy to see is like hockey or football, because hockey,
Where they gotta run
they gotta
into each
run
other.
into each other, like they're slipping all over the
Yeah,
thing.
that'd be pretty
And they
entertaining.
fight sober, so I'd like to see them
Oh my
fighting.
God.
Oh my
Imagine
God, I didn't think about
drunk.
that. That would be a serious brawl. Everyone's clearing the benches for
Just
that.
could we not stop fighting? I don't know. Probably. I'm trying to think how
I'm
they
telling
run
you,
into each other.
this drew a crowd. Like, people
How
were-
bad he was.
How funny. It
Well,
was
'cause they were
just
so loud and they
hilarious.
were-
I
yeah.
mean, it was just really, really, really funny. Everyone was watching and dying laughing.
Tennis drunk.
Yeah. Drunk tennis.
Drunk tennis.
I'm gonna go with
Try
hockey
it.
now because you brought the brawling part
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah,
That's the
that'd
only
be
reason
pretty
I
funny.
even like to watch it is if they start fighting.
Yeah, right.
tomorrow night the Stars are playing. So.
Yeah.
There were no
Go
fights
Stars.
yesterday. Were there?
No, but the goalie got hit in the neck with the.
Ouch.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they wear so many pads. I was very
Well,
confused.
he fell down.
It's
I
a
don't
little
know.
hole.
Yeah,
I think it was more of a pride injury.
You think so?
Like you were like this big, full of padding. Hit him right there. Anyway,
That's too funny. All right,
On
what's
that
what's
note-
yours?
Oh yeah.
Oh, polo.
Oh,
for
you
real.
Polo?
are
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a
I want
polo.
to see
That's right.
drunk horse riding on
Oh
that
my
swinging shit.
God.
You get the horses drunk. Now that's gonna be some serious fighting right there.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, on that note, you guys look out for part 2 to the narcissist
Yeah.
Very good.
story.
thank you.
Thank you.